to get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. I said beautiful. It is not beautiful outside. Hail warnings, tornado warnings, this and that. We've already had major crashes take place. So if you're driving out there, be safe as possible. Hey, the NBA playoffs start tonight, and my Timberwolves are in the play-in tournament. They take on, who do they take on? Oh yeah, the Los Angeles Clippers. Whoever wins this game goes on to take on the Memphis Grizzlies, the number 2 seed Grizzlies, that is, who have been on a hot streak as of late. I'm so pumped for this. Now, if the Wolves end up losing, it's okay. All right, it's okay, because then we go play the winner of the we got to win that game, otherwise it's lose and then go home, and that's just not what we need, especially when we've had one hell of a season. Patrick Beverley coming over to the Minnesota Timberwolves, being formerly of the Los Angeles Clippers, comes to us and brings a whole new energy and really has made our team feel like we have a shot almost. We have a little shot. There's always a shot for every single team as soon as the season starts, but hey, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, only one team remains the champion going into the following season. So my Timberwolves, hey, good luck out there. I'll be watching that game tonight, cheering them on, drinking some beer, having some fun. You know, that's what we're going to do, okay? And I hope you guys do the same. The NFL world has been so dead. I mean, nothing's fucking happening. But we're in that period where we kind of expected this to happen. This period will last up until the draft. And then we got the draft. And then after that, there's kind of like a month span of like, okay, what are we going to talk about? Well, we got to figure it out on a daily basis. We will do so. Don't worry about it. We'll have fun doing that. Last year, I think we took a break, a hiatus or whatever, because there was nothing to talk about. Not the case this season. We'll continue to dive into all things sports, whether that's baseball, hockey, because the hockey playoffs are right around the corner, or basketball, because the playoffs start tonight. So we got to get to the world of the National Football League, where the Washington Commanders, well, more information has been released from their allegations saying that they held 2 books last season. Well, maybe for many, many years they've been doing this. So we'll dive into that. And the Seahawks picking up the first ever 5th round option in the history of their organization. So let's get right to it. Are you ready to get your fix? So not too long ago, we had to dive into the unfortunate information regarding, or allegations regarding, the Washington Commanders. First, Dan Snyder years ago was in a little scandal saying that he took pictures of the cheerleaders and sent them out to multiple people. Kind of went away for a little bit. Then last year we had the FBI investigate the Washington Commanders, diving into over 600,000 emails plus. That ultimately led to the firing of John Gruden, who was the Raiders head coach. They needed to have an interim head coach, which is Rich Bisaccia. Well, not only did they investigate the Washington Commanders, the Commanders stadium just seemed to be not up to par. We had pipes bursting, shit pipes, whatever you want to call them, poop pipes. I don't know what it was. Could be water pipes. But from the look of that water, they either had a really bad rust problem a lot of people were probably taking poops in the bathroom, okay, because that's what it looked like to me. Not only did they have the pipes breaking, but they also had railings collapsing, almost ending a career of Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles star quarterback, franchise quarterback, whatever you like to call him. Well, shortly after that, as soon as the season was said and done, there was accusations against the Washington Commanders saying, hey, they've been holding revenue shares from the NFL for quite some time. I think we need to dive into this, take a further look, because things seem a little fishy over there in the Washington organization. So that's exactly what has been happening. The NFL launches an investigation on the Washington Commanders. I believe the FBI has been involved. Congress has been involved. What the hell has been happening? We have a Warren Buffett type of situation, or not Warren Buffett. I can't remember his name. We have a pretty serious situation. Well, today we have more information regarding these allegations, regarding the two books that were potentially kept in order, basically. The U.S. House Oversight Committee has sent a 20-page letter to the Federal Trade Commission saying the Washington Commanders and owner Daniel Snyder may have engaged in a troubling, long-running, and potentially unlawful pattern of financial conduct. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, their sales executive, Jason Friedman, alleges that the team improperly kept fans' premium seating deposits and concealed ticket revenue from the NFL that would have been subject to revenue sharing. Now, revenue sharing for the NFL basically means a percentage or a certain percentage of your revenue gets spread out evenly amongst the other owners as well as the NFL as a whole. Well, he also goes on to say that he's a former vice president of sales, Jason Friedman, who is, by the way, a former 24-year employee. Think he knows his shit, in my opinion. I believe he probably would. On the team keeping two sets of books. He says, well, there's a set of books that's submitted to the NFL. Then there's a set of books that's kept internally shown to Mr. Snyder. So there's two books, you're telling me? Well, let's find out. Jason Friedman also told the Oversight Committee that the Commanders had two sets of books and intentionally allocated NFL revenue to non-NFL events at FedEx Field, concerts, college games, etc., so that it wouldn't be a part of the NFL's revenue sharing pool. Because it's not an NFL event that's taking place, they don't need to share the revenue, and they don't need to, give it to the NFL, basically. Well, he also goes on to say, and I thought this is pretty interesting. Today I had to read a pretty lengthy little thing. We'll read just a brief little part of it. It says, basically, that... Oh, jeez Louise. Come on, you fucking... Alright. Technology nowadays is just the worst. I mean, this is just terrible. There we go. To a letter to the Federal Trade Commission, which was obtained by the Washington Post, the House Committee on Oversight and Reform accused Commanders executives and team owner Daniel Snyder of hiding revenue from the NFL for over a decade by withholding security deposits that should have been refunded to season ticket holders. It says, we are writing to share evidence of concerning business practices by the Washington Commanders uncovered during the committee's ongoing investigation into workplace misconduct at the team. Evidence obtained by the committee, including emails, documents, and statements from former employees, indicate senior executives and the team's owner, Daniel Snyder, may have engaged in troubling, long-running, and potentially unlawful pattern of financial conduct that victimized thousands of team fans and the National Football League. Well, kind of goes on. And just to give you guys a further insight, we'll give you, we'll show you or tell you just how much money they kind of withheld from the NFL. I believe this was the last season, if I'm not wrong. No, this was in 2014. But it's just an example of what they have been doing for many, many years under the ownership of Daniel Snyder, who, by the way, is a complete scumbag and probably is going to have to sell the team. But Jason Friedman, former vice president of sales, says he told the committee that he falsely processed $162,360 of revenue from Commanders game tickets as being derived from a Navy Notre Dame game at FedEx Field, based on guidance from Choi. In a May 6, 2014 email, the juice goes to Navy versus Notre Dame game. Now, what the juice means, what they're saying when they say juice, is that basically the money, okay? The money that should have been allocated to the NFL. It wasn't, okay? Obviously, so it was an NFL game, an NFL event. They said, no. This was actually, we got this from the Navy Notre Dame game, so you're not getting this. This is our money. In reality, it was an actual NFL event. Friedman told the committee the Commanders avoided detection in such a case by charging $55 for a ticket listed in their manifest as costing $44. They gained $11 on every single ticket, which means they're frauds, right? Stealing. Telling people, hey, give me $100, I can turn it into $1,000. No, because you'll never see the $100 ever again. You'll never see $1,000 that they promised you. Stuff like that. So this is the two sets of books that Friedman told the committee. So in this particular case, there's a set of books that's submitted to the NFL that doesn't include $162,000. But then there's a set of books that's kept internally shown to Mr. Snyder, and Mr. Snyder's, I believe, just the people in his inner circle maybe that shows we actually did, which would include the $162,000. So basically, if this type of stuff happens, you have to keep it in close proximity. You can't let a lot of people know. It's either or the owner knows, and one other person knows, or the owner and two other people know. Obviously, the person in sales probably has to know. Maybe the vice president has to know, or the vice owner has to know. You have to keep a small circle in this whole thing. Otherwise, word kind of gets out and spreads quickly. Well, the truth's going to come out, and it's starting to. They've basically just been bamboozling their fans. And it's really interesting, right? Because if they were doing such a thing, you'd expect the Washington Commanders to have a lot more money and probably have a lot better roster, a better stadium, and maybe a Super Bowl ring or two. That's not the case. They're a shitty organization. Really never been anything special except for a couple times when they went to the Super Bowl way back in the day. They had to change their name, which was once the Washington Redskins, to the Washington Football Team, and now to the Washington Commanders, to finally find their identity. And when they have their identity, all this shit comes out. And it's like, okay, well, how will we just get rid of this team? And I think that's potentially is what is going to happen. If I'm the National Football League, I'm going to look at Daniel Snyder and say, hey, your time's done, pal. Okay, your name is in the news way too much. It's not good for business. It's not good for the integrity of the game. You're bamboozling your fans, which I don't know how the hell you have any more fans. Probably won't after hearing this whole situation. $11 more was spent on each ticket, even though it was said it was only $44. But Washington, man, they're screwed. And I don't necessarily think they're going to pick up the team and move them to a different organization. I honestly just believe the NFL is going to force Daniel Snyder to sell the team, most likely by this year. I'm sure he'll step down of his ownership within the coming months. But Washington Commanders and Daniel Snyder have constantly been at the forefront of this, saying, that ain't true. We never did such a thing. We've been revenue sharing our whole career. This is what we do. This is the rules. That's what we've been following. No two sets of books here. Jeez Louise. 2 sets of books, yeah, because we have to have the same fucking book, okay, so that I know what happened in previous years and you know what happened as well. They're the same goddamn thing. You guys are just twisting it a little bit. We never did anything. All bullshit. I mean, geez, Louise, you have a former 24-year employee coming out saying, well, I falsely processed about $162,000. That was considered an NFL event, but really we said it was a Navy Notre Dame game. So, I mean, take that as you will. But Washington is kind of fucked. Really fucked, in my opinion. So, whatever happens going forward, I'm sure more information will be getting out there as time goes on. But they're also continuing to cooperate with the Oversight Committee and have provided more than 210,000 pages of documents. The NFL has engaged former SEC Chair Mary Jo White to review the serious matters raised by the committee. So the NFL is kind of launching their investigation, or has been doing this investigation at the forefront of it, trying to figure out what the hell actually happened. The House actually has been involved as well, trying to dive into what actually happened here. Potential fraud is a real possibility. Prison time I'd expect for Daniel Snyder for his fuckery. He's not going to have a fan base after this. And what does that mean for all these people that are all these players that he's brought in? I mean, they traded for Carson Wentz, right? He probably doesn't want to play for there. I mean, all this noise is probably too much to handle, even though I think he's fine with it. He doesn't, I mean, he blocks it out, basically, is what I'm trying to say there. Ron Rivera, he's a new head coach there, a year removed, or 2 years ago he got hired there. He's a new head coach. Now all this shit's happening again. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Okay, I don't want to hear any of this nonsense. We're here to play football, and we're here to do the things the right way. Shouldn't have to deal with this outside noise. I wasn't a part of it. You guys hired me, and now I'm in this organization that all of a sudden wants to say, well, we're cheating, basically. But we can't win ball games. We can't win a Super Bowl. What's happening? We made the playoffs 2 years ago. Still didn't do anything about it. Our stadium's falling apart right before our fucking eyes. Damn near had a career-ending injury on the opposing sideline, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. What are we doing? This is just absolute anarchy over there. And if I'm the NFL, like I've mentioned, I'd make sure Daniel Snyder has to sell the team and face the consequences head on. I think this guy deserves prison time. He's a scumbag. He's a jerk. And I think that's basically the whole moral of the story, I guess. But, I mean, if they really did this, Washington, well, more penalties could probably be coming their way, even though if they do get a new owner, a lot of executives are probably going to lose their job, like a lot of them. And who knows how this whole thing is going to kind of pan out. But this is a big eye-opener for the National Football League, because who knows if they're the only organization doing this. And if they're not, we talked about it the other day, with the workplace misconduct and getting more diversity in the field. Let's have a major investigation. Let's figure out all the fuckery that's been happening in the National Football League. In my opinion, I think we need to, because if the integrity of the game is at the most importance of the National Football League, I think we should probably get to the bottom of all this, right? How many teams are keeping 2 sets of books? How many teams are, faking the Rooney Rule, basically, or having these bridge coaching opportunities, or these booth interviews, these fugazi interviews? How many teams don't care? They just want their money. How many owners want this? I think we need to figure it out. I really do. There's too many problems right now going on with the National Football League, more than I can remember in recent memory, and I'm all for an investigation, a major investigation. That goes from the top of the top commissioner, Roger Goodell, his committee, every single team, all 32 of them, their front offices, their emails, everything. Figure it out. Let's get this game back on the right track before we lose it, in my opinion. We need to figure this out, because there's a lot of bullshit going on, and billionaires basically is what's happening. You get a bit, a billionaire can do whatever the fuck he wants or thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants until, hey, it's time to face the noise. And when the time comes to face the noise, they're tucking their tail real fucking quick. Most likely get out of it as well because they have the money to hire the best lawyers, maybe pay off a judge or two. Hey, don't worry about it. I will be fine. Let me off the hook. I'll go do my own thing. I'll go start a ranch. But come on. If the integrity of the game is at the most importance, don't you think we should figure all this out? I do. Because I don't want to lose the greatest, game in North America, in my opinion. So figure it out, NFL. Figure it out ASAP. Because the NFL, it's only going to get better. We have superstars amongst superstars. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. The list literally is massive. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller. I could list them off, folks. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. You want me to keep going? I think you get the point. Let's figure it out. All right? NFL's in good hands, player-wise. Not so much owner-wise. And it's not probably only the Washington Commanders that I'm, a little skeptical about. They're just the only ones in the news. In other parts of the NFL, hey, the Seattle Seahawks have just did something for the first time ever? What? What could that be? What could that be? Well, newly acquired Seahawks tight end who was in that trade where it sent Russell Westbrook and some picks, Russell Westbrook to the Denver Broncos, and in return they got Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and I already forgot the D tackle's name, Shelby Harris, I think. No, that's wrong. Another D tackle they got, a couple picks and stuff like that. But that tight end that they got, newly acquired tight end, Noah Fant becomes the first player in Seahawks history and the first player from the 2019 draft class to have his fifth-year option picked up. Okay? Fifth-year option, I believe, basically says, okay, we have the opportunity to say, yeah, we'd like to sign you, we'd like to keep you for that fifth year, or we'll let you walk in free agency. Okay? Seahawks have historically never, ever picked up somebody's fifth-year option. They've either A, extended him before that was the possibility or before that was a chance, or B, see you later. Okay, we're not picking that up. You're going to go be a free agent. We'll figure out how to sign you then. It's just, and I don't know why they wouldn't. I'm not really sure what it kind of means other than I think it's probably cheaper money, and that's what it looks like here. But he's locked in for 2023, his fifth-year season, so that'll be next year, for $6.85 million, which is fully guaranteed. So he takes a 6.8 hit against the cap space for the Seattle Seahawks next year. Next season, not this upcoming season, the one after that, so 2023. I think this is a good thing. This is a very, very good thing because, hey, it's the first time in Seattle's history that they have done this. He became, obviously, the first year. The team previously, the Seattle Seahawks previously declined it on 4 other first-rounders, while Seattle did not use a first-round pick in 2013 through 2015 and 2017. So they didn't have a first-round pick in those 4 years, but the other 4 first-rounders that they had in between those years, they said, we don't need to pick that up, okay? He wasn't either A, that good, or B, we can go get a contract extension done. How are we doing? Keep it moving. Well, there's a guy in the building as well that his fifth-year option is coming up, and it's very unlikely that they get a deal done or pick up his option. Defensive end L.J. Collier's fifth-year option is unlikely. That is reported by @FieldYates on Twitter. So congratulations to Noah Fant for getting locked up for another season. He has 2 more years in Seattle. I'm sure they picked this 5th year up because he just was acquired in a trade. Let's see how he does this year. He'll have next year as well to learn the playbook, get ready to rock and roll for next season, be a little bit better on our roster, make more noise, make a bigger impact, and hopefully help us try to get to the playoffs this upcoming season and the next as well. And I'm pretty sure that's, in my opinion, I think that's probably why they picked up that 5th year option, just because, hey, what's 1 year going to show us? Let's get him for 2 instead of getting a contract extension then, because we won't know after year 1 if we want to extend him unless he has a ridiculous season, 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, 15 touchdowns, whatever the case may be. So I think that's why they picked up that 5th year option for Noah Fant, and he's set to have a miraculous season, I think. I think he's going to have a good season. They just got to figure out their quarterback situation, because I don't know if they quite want to roll with Drew Lock. Maybe they go draft one. Maybe they trade for one. Maybe that's Jimmy G. Bring him over to Seattle, a division rival. I think that would be an interesting pickup for the Seattle Seahawks. But only time will tell. The draft is only 16 days away. Thursday, April 28th is the draft. And like I mentioned the other day, we're going to have a little something on that day where we dive through, when the picks are being made, we'll talk about them, me, Y4, potentially Logan Baumgart. Things have to get set in place here coming up, but that will be for sure a fun time, right? We had the end of the season celebration. We'll have the draft celebration, and then we'll probably have, I think, towards the end of the preseason, no, before the preseason gets underway, we'll have a beginning of the year celebration as well. I mean, we like to have fun over here. We like to celebrate the sport that we love so much that has some fuckery going on around it. We'll let the Washington Commanders, but at least it's not the Vikings, right? At least it's not us. Who knows? It probably could be as well. But with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. The NFL is fucking dead, and it's going to be that way for quite some time until the draft happens, and then it's going to be the same way after the draft until training camp gets underway. The HBO Max Hard Knocks training camp for the Detroit Lions gets placed. I mean, we're in that dead period, but who cares? It's football. We love it. We like talking about it. We having fun. So with that being said, have a great rest of your night. Go watch the Wolves put on a show. Get the big old W, the W, yeah, like that, and move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. Have a series tournament game and hopefully beat them and continue to climb up the ladder and hoist that MLB trophy. And I got it, we won. Let's hope that's the case, but it starts tonight. 8:30 is tip-off. We also have the Twins playing at 6:40. That'll be awesome to watch. I'll probably be tuning into that. They're playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. We also have the Minnesota Wild playing at 7 against, I believe, the Edmonton Oilers. They're having one hell of a season. They're playoff bound. I cannot wait to watch them finish the last couple games out and then hit the bus or hit the ground running for the Lord Stanley's Cup. That'll be pretty pumped. Pretty fun to watch. So, hey, a lot of sports happening, a lot of fun's happening. You guys should have fun as well. Do whatever the hell you want. Play some video games, drink some beer, eat some nachos, eat some hot dogs. Just do what you want to do, because that's what this life is all about. So we'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Like always, thank you so much for watching. If that's on Facebook or on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, hit the like, hit the share. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It'd be much, much appreciated. And like I said, have a great rest of your night. And you just got your fix with the Wicks. Deuces, folks. Let's go Wolves.